Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the power of support during your healing journey. Healing is personal and it was never meant to happen in complete isolation, right? So, when people begin their healing journey, they often focus on what? Nutrition, supplements, medication, exercise, sleep, lab work, right? Those things matter. But one area that is often overlooked is the role of connection, encouragement, and support. Research now shows that supportive relationships can influence your stress hormones, that's cortisol, inflammation, immune function, mental health, motivation, and even long-term health outcomes. So, at the same time, chronic loneliness and isolation can negatively impact your healing and overall health. We're going to look today is partly educational and partly also a brainstorming discussion. A little interactive, get your pen and pencil out and a piece of paper if you're able, if you're driving, maybe make a mental note. But please be safe while you drive. So what does support look like during healing and how can we build more of it? So the body heals best when it feels safe. I can tell that the side of that as I helped my daughter on her healing journey, I made a few mistakes along the way, which we all do, and she didn't feel safe. Once she felt safe, her healing skyrocketed. When someone is overwhelmed, isolated, chronically stressed, and unsupportive, the cortisol may remain elevated, inflammation can increase, and sleep often suffers, and the nervous system can stay stuck in fight or flight, looking for that tiger that's around the corner. And we live where there's no tigers, right? So, supportive relationships help regulate the nervous system and create conditions that are more favorable to healing. Note that in 2023, the US Surgeon General released an advisory calling for loneliness and isolation as a major health concern. Um, Now, we were just coming out of the pandemic then too, but this was all going on prior to the pandemic. One striking statistic from that report is that mortality impact of being socially disconnected is similar to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. Think about that. And if there's some of you out there that used to smoke and you gave up and you're feeling disconnected, you're probably wondering, I don't want those 15 cigarettes anymore. I don't even want to feel like that. So, the advisory also know that approximately 1 in 2 adults in America report experiencing loneliness. These researchers have linked chronic loneliness and isolation with an increased risk of heart disease, stroke, anxiety and depression, dementia, weakened immune function, so you're picking up every cold that's coming through, and premature death. A major meta-analysis involving more than 2 million individuals found that social isolation and loneliness were associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, cancer mortality, all-cause mortality. Also, additional studies show supportive relationships, listen to that, supportive relationships help buffer stress responses through its effects on the nervous system. You're not in fight or flight. Your immune pathways, they're calmed down. They can do what they need to. Your inflammatory signaling decreases so you don't feel like you're 100 years old. Research also linked loneliness with biological markers associated with inflammation and chronic disease. So no, connection affects chemistry. So the people around us and the level of support we experience can influence how our bodies respond to stress and healing. So support does not always mean having a huge social circle. No. Support sometimes looks like one encouraging friend, a spouse helping with meals, a walking partner, church or faith community, a therapist, a support group, a health coach, or simply someone who listens without judgment. That friend that would just listen to you and just like, I hear you. I see you. So there's different types of support. There's the emotional support, someone who says, I believe you. You're not alone. Keep going. It's worth it. The practical support, help with meals, transportation, childcare, accountability, healthy routines. Then there's informational support, learning from others who walk a similar path. Sometimes you can find that online. Sometimes you can find that in a community around here. We've even seen it here within our open office hours. We've had people connect over both having POTS and how one person got more healing and the one that needed healing wanted to know how they got there. Community support, feeling connected and understood. So I want you to think about this. Where do people find support while healing? Write it down. So let's start small. Not everyone has strong support immediately, right? So I wonder who here feels emotionally safe? You could raise a hand, you could just think about it. Who encourages growth? Who listens well? Sometimes healing begins with identifying just one supportive person. So support develops naturally through shared experiences, right? I was in an infertility support group when I was much younger, and the connections that we all shared was so helpful in us all getting to our family building journeys, no matter how we built our families. So there's examples such as walking groups, fitness classes, gardening groups, volunteer work, who likes to go out and volunteer and do things around our community, cooking with others. That's always fun. That's like one of my favorite things to do. And when I was 20, I would not have thought that. Faith communities, group coaching. We used to do group coaching here at the practice. It kind of fell off because people weren't interested. But if anybody's interested again, message the office and we can look into building a group coaching group again. Online wellness communities. Healthy habits are often easier in a healthy environment, right? And that's one thing many people have found being part of family functional medicine in our open office hours is because we're together as a community, it's easier to create and build those habits. So people may want to help, but not know how. So instead of saying, I'm overwhelmed, try saying, would you walk with me twice this week? Could we plan meals together? Can you check in on me? A specific request creates actual support. So think about this. You know somebody's going through a health thing and you go, what can I help you with? And you honestly want to help them. And they're so overwhelmed, they don't know what they need help with. So it's the same way about if you're so overwhelmed, you need help, say, I need help with this. And if you want to help somebody, say, hey, I can come in and do your laundry, or I can drop off a meal. Are you a vegetarian? So note that healing can be lonely. So I encourage you to get outside, reconnect with trusted people, attend community events that interest you, limit excessive isolation, like binging on your favorite Netflix or whatever you binge on. Prioritizing face-to-face connection when possible, in person, and if not, you can do it through a virtual call if your favorite friend or cousin lives across the country. Or what I have done in recent years is I have a friend and we send back short 2-3 minute videos back and forth to each other, sharing things. It's really helpful to both people, and it really does build a relationship. So not every relationship supports healing. Sometimes support also means creating a healthy boundary. You have that family member or friend that always brings drama. always encroaches onto your space and makes it harder for you to moderate your responses. Reducing exposure to negativity, stepping away from constant stress. I've seen a patient here recently um, step down from a higher position and took something lower to help with their stress and healing, and they immediately saw the difference. So protecting your rest and peace. Without support, healing often feels heavier, right? Isolation can contribute to that increased stress. The cortisol that's off the roof, that you can't sleep at all. You're just like buzzing. Depression and anxiety, poor sleep, increased inflammation. Maybe you're more bloated, joints hurt, brain foggy. Reduced motivation to do anything. Difficulty maintaining those lifestyle changes help. So research consistently shows that loneliness affects both emotional and physical health. So needing support is not a weakness. Human beings are wired for connection. Food matters, sleep matters, movement matters, but relationships matter too. Healing is often strengthened through encouragement, accountability. Did you actually do what you say you were going to do? I did, kind of. Well, that's good. Maybe you're almost there. Shared experiences, and simply knowing we are not alone. Sometimes one supportive conversation or one meaningful connection can help change the course of a healing journey. So I want to open it up for some discussion. I have some questions here. We have a large group of people here. It's great to know. So who currently supports your healing? Can you write that down? Who currently supports healing? Or maybe you want to share who currently supports healing? Maybe what kind of support helps you the most? Maybe where do you feel encouraged? Or where do you feel drained? Who's that energy vampire in your life? Do you have an energy vampire? You love him dearly, but afterwards you're like, oh my God, I need to hole up and sleep or something, right? And what is one small step you could take this week to strengthen connection or community? I would love to know. Oh, we have somebody to put something in this chat that I didn't see. Karen says, my husband. Is he the one that currently supports you?